It is remarkably easy to evaluate an app development company based strictly on their portfolio screenshots, their proposed hourly rate, and their promises of a rapid launch. Almost every first-time founder and enterprise product manager faces massive internal pressure to get a minimum viable product out the door. That pressure makes the fastest, cheapest quote incredibly tempting to accept. But evaluating an app based solely on the cost to launch it ignores a critical financial reality. The true financial burden of a software application rarely hits during the initial build. The heavy costs arrive in years 2 and 3. This line graph maps the total cost of ownership over a 5-year life cycle, separating the marketed launch price from the actual reality of scaling and maintaining a digital product. Look at the trajectory for the cheapest upfront option. It starts low, but then it spikes wildly and unpredictably. This happens because compounding technical debt and poorly planned architecture eventually force a complete, expensive system rebuild just to keep the app running. Now, look at the strategic partner approach. It demands a higher upfront capital investment to establish a strong foundation. But over the next 4 years, that curve smooths out into a predictable, manageable maintenance baseline. When you map out the total life cycle, selecting a vendor based solely on the lowest initial quote is mathematically the most expensive way to build a scalable application. The choice usually comes down to 2 distinct types of agencies: the feature executioner or a strategic partner like GrowRankers. A feature executioner operates on a simple model. You hand them a list of requests, and they say yes to all of them, writing code without ever questioning your underlying business logic or user workflows. That model has intense psychological appeal. It offers a fast MVP with absolutely zero pushback and almost no upfront friction. A strategic partner operates differently. They actively introduce friction. They demand rigorous product thinking, map out architecture requirements, and heavily challenge your initial assumptions before a single developer touches a keyboard. We are going to look closely at the hard ROI of this strategic methodology to determine exactly when that early friction is worth the long-term payoff. In enterprise software development, early friction is a vital protective mechanism for your capital. The first major point of resistance clients often have with a strategic partner is the requirement to undergo a paid discovery sprint. Skipping discovery means agreeing to build a massive list of unvalidated features. The inevitable result is a bloated, confusing application that burns through budget while entirely missing the target audience. The GrowRankers discovery phase forces clarity. They map exact workflows, stress test the business logic for flaws, and establish a rigid technical roadmap that dictates exactly how the system will operate. The trade-off is immediate. A paid discovery delays the gratification of seeing rapid coding progress, and it requires you to allocate capital upfront for planning. This comparison matrix shows how both approaches play out. Mid-project, the feature executioner faces high-tech debt and scope creep, while the strategic partner has validated workflows. That upfront planning drastically reduces catastrophic mid-project scope changes, preventing massive cost overruns. This is the discipline of product thinking, identifying and eliminating technical debt by asking hard, clarifying questions while changes are still cheap to make. An agency's willingness to push back and interrogate your ideas during discovery is the most reliable leading indicator of their actual technical competence. Once the planning is complete, the focus shifts to the technical foundation, system architecture. Reliable companies rely on modular architecture. Instead of writing a single, rigid block of code, they build the system out of interchangeable, self-contained blocks. A rigid system fractures under the pressure of scaling. A system built on dynamic, interconnected modules rearranges and adapts to the new weight without breaking. Modularity is a hard requirement for any modern app. Your product will inevitably rely on third-party integrations, payment gateways, customer relationship managers, and outside analytics tools. If your architecture isn't modular, you face the risk of cascade failure. A single routine update to an external payment API can crash your entire application because the code is entirely tangled together. The GrowRankers engineering methodology assumes real-world failures will happen. They build systems that maintain data consistency and allow you to swap out individual components, like plugging in new AI capabilities, without triggering a massive system rebuild. Building future-proof systems demands higher-tier engineering talent and significantly more time spent in the architecture planning phase. Rigid architecture puts a hard ceiling on your business growth. Modular architecture acts as a permanent insurance policy against shifting technology trends. Budget agencies frequently lower their initial quotes by treating security and compliance as tasks to handle after the app is live. That quick and dirty approach leaves user data entirely exposed, opening the business up to severe liabilities during regulatory audits. Strategic development requires baking secure coding practices, data encryption, and authentication protocols directly into the foundation from day one. But the ultimate evaluation factor that defines your long-term return on investment is post-launch support. The idea of a one-and-done fixed-cost app launch is a complete illusion. Live apps require constant attention. Operating systems update, software bugs appear, traffic loads spike, and features require constant optimization based on real user data. Retaining a premium agency for ongoing support means committing to a monthly operating budget. You lose the comfort of a single final price tag. Deploying an app to the store is merely the starting line. Without a robust post-launch infrastructure strategy, your digital asset will rapidly depreciate into a massive liability. We can use a clear framework to determine exactly when a premium partner is necessary and when a cheaper option is the right business decision. To find out where your project fits, we can look at this quadrant chart. It measures the importance of long-term scalability against the complexity of your integrations and security needs. If you are building a simple internal prototype or a short-term event app, you are in the bottom left quadrant. Here, a budget agency or a freelancer is perfectly appropriate. Hiring a premium agency like GrowRankers for a disposable prototype will result in an over-engineered solution, wasting your time and money on scalability you simply do not need. But if you are building a high-growth, consumer-facing product or a critical enterprise tool handling sensitive data, you are in the top right quadrant. GrowRankers sits firmly in this top right quadrant. They are the essential strategic partner for these high-stakes, complex environments. Making this partnership work requires a commitment from you: transparent communication, realistic budget forecasting, and active, ongoing collaboration. Securing pricing transparency and understanding your total cost of ownership will always be vastly more important than hunting for the cheapest initial quote. If your application is core to your business revenue, investing in secure architecture, product thinking, and post-launch infrastructure is the only reliable way to protect your